All right, so here we have the discriminant and the quadratic equation. So to determine the number of solutions to the quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, we're going to evaluate the discriminant, which is just b squared minus 4ac. Excuse me. Now, if that number is greater than 0, there's going to be two real solutions. If that number is equal to 0, there's going to be one solution. And if it's going to be less than 0, there's going to be no real solutions, but they're going to be two complex solutions. So it's going to be, maybe A plus BI over C or something like that. It's going to give you two of these, so plus or minus. So you're going to have two of those, depending on what it is. And again, these A, B's, and C's here don't represent the A, B's, and C's up here. These are just letters I'm just using just to make show you that there's going to be two complex solutions. All right, so what they want us to use is the discriminant to determine the number of solutions in this equation. And then they want us to solve the equation using the quadratic formula. All right, so if we plug that in, we have to get that to the other side so we know what our actual C value is. And so that's our A, B, and C. And so B squared is going to be 5 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 3. And what does that give us? Well, it gives us a 1. Okay. So 1 is going to be our discriminant. And remember, our discriminant, if it's greater than 0, that means two real solutions. So we're going to have two real solutions here. And so now we plug it into here and we get minus 5 plus or minus square root of 1 over 2 times negative 2. And so it gives us basically 1, okay, or 3 halves, okay, 1 or 1.5, 3 halves. Okay, so those are our two solutions, and that's what it should be because we saw that this is going to give us two real solutions. And if you really think about it, what is this b squared minus 4ac? Well, that's just what's underneath our radical. That's our discriminant is what's under the radical. So that was why we easily were able to say, well, that's 1 because, well, guess what? That's what that number is there. All right, what about the equation x squared plus k equals 0? Now, if k is greater than the 0, our solution to this is going to be given by plus or minus I squared of k. And why is that? Because if we solve this, where's my writing? It's up here. If this is plus k, when we subtract k, we have x squared equals a minus k. So the square root of that is going to be plus or minus the square root of negative k. Well, that has a negative I in it, so we can, or negative 1, which gives us an I, so that's going to be plus or minus I square root of k. And so that's why it is, because we have that negative 1 here. And so that gives us the I. All right, so here, that gives us what? Well, we have to take the 17 over here, and so we're going to have plus or minus I square root of 17. So that one's pretty easy. So when we're like this, we like those kind of problems because they are nice and simple. All right, so we have two solutions again. All right, so let's stop there and come back for some more.